Hello, hi, welcome back. So in the previous video, we have learned how we can install WordPress locally and create some project with that. It's not a great project, but you can get the gist of it. That this type of project can be easily uh, created in local environment, and after completing in the local environment, we need to upload the project to our server so that we can share the project with everyone else. Okay, so it's a simple process. So here we have everything, whatever we need. Okay, so let me just open the hosting. Here I have purchased the hosting from Hostinger, and currently I'm using a temporary domain from the hosting website. Okay, so this we are going to use to deploy our project to on server. Okay, so here it has nothing in it. So first thing first, to start, we need first files. Okay, so for that, you need to select all the files except the htaccess and simply right click on it and choose the compress method, or you can use 7-zip method to create a zip. Basically, you just need to create a zip file of all the files contained there so that we can easily import to this on our server. Okay, so here we have the server. First, zip file is working on it. So let's export the database as well. So let me just open the PHP admin, get my PHP admin. Let's open the database that we have currently used in our project. So our project is WP install and we use the same name for our database too. Okay. So let's choose the export method from top menu and now simply hit export. It will automatically export all the tables from the database to a SQL file so that we can easily import this SQL file on to the server. So here, let's open the website. So here we have the simple Hostinger interface, okay, where we can simply create a database, and with the help of file manager, we can easily upload the files as. So let's start with the database. So here we have the database. So let me just call this as WP install, and for the username, I will use this same WP install, and for the password, let's generate random. Okay, so let's copy the password and save it at somewhere place safer. Okay, here I have the password ready. So now let me go back to there. I have created the database name, username, and password. So simply create the database with the user. So here we have successfully created the user. So let me just copy the database name. So let me just use it here and copy the username as well. So this one will be the username. In my case, I have used the same words, but on your case, you can use different or the same, whatever you like it. So let's go back. Now click on this option, enter PHP admin. It will automatically open the PHP admin where you can simply import the database. Here, I have the database already selected. Let's choose the import method from here and choose the file. So click on the choose file option and browse the file. I have it in downloads. Choose the file and simply scroll down to the bottom and use the import button. Okay. So now the database is inserting. It's successfully inserted. But with the problem is WordPress that WordPress uses the absolute URLs for like images and all the other parts. So in such case, let me just show you. Here we have the ASP option tables. Here you can simply see localhost version. But in our case, we have already choose a domain and we want to replace this domain to our particular case. Okay. So there is one thing you can simply find manually link and replace the URLs with the current website of it. But in our case, it's not feasible for that because we use some minor images and other things as well. So for that, we can use SQL queries. Okay. So here, let me just open the database and choose the SQL. And here I have the simple method. Okay. So these are SQL queries that can help you to simply replace the localhost URL or if you are moving from one server to another server, you can simply use the old server URL to a new server URL. Okay. So our old server URL is basically simple. So let me just open again. So let me just show you this. So this is our old URL. Simply copy this, go back to this, and replace with this. Okay, simply paste. Make sure on the end you don't use backslash. Okay, simply the URL. And our latest domain is this. So let's copy this, go back to this, and make sure at the end there is no backslash. Okay, so let me just use the old URL, all the other places. Okay, and the URL to the new URL place. So let me just, okay, okay. Now the other thing, prefix. This is the default prefix for WordPress database. But in our case, we have simply changed the prefix from WP underscore to ASB underscore. Okay. So let me just fix that as well. So ASB. Okay. Now simply copy everything to this. Simple copy. Go back to the SQL query. We have the database already set open. Go to the SQL tab. Simply right click and paste and hit go. So it will automatically replace the URLs. If you want to check, here we have that perfectly working fine. Okay. So now our database is successfully completed. First, we export the database from localhost. Second, we create a database on server. Third, we open the server database in PHP Fourth, we import the database from our system to the server. Fifth and last, we need to replace the URLs with this command. I will paste this command on the description to this particular video. You can simply copy paste it. Okay. So it looks perfectly fine. Now go back to the files part. So let me just close this. There is no need for that now. Now go back to the dashboard again and open the file manager where we can import all the files related to our project. Okay. So here we have successfully created the zip file. It's 121 MB size. So let me just open this. You need to go to the public HTML and remove all any pre-existing files because we don't need that. Simply use the upload method and drag your zip file to the server and drop it here. So you can see it's uploading currently. So let me just pause the video and after the completion, I will get back to you. So here, as you can see, the zip file is successfully uploaded. So simply right click on it and choose the extract method. Choose the destination folder. Let me just give them a random name, 1 to 3, and simply extract it in. Because in that particular case, the folder name is not relevant. Okay. So it is. So we don't need the zip file now. Let's delete this. Open the folder. Copy everything and choose the move method. Simple. Go to one level up. Here you have the path files public HTML. So let me just delete this folder as well. So make sure your all the WordPress files on the root directory and the root directory always will be public underscore HTML. Okay. So here we have simply uploaded the files and configured it to our server. Now open the WP config file. Here we need to update some things. First is database name. As you have seen, we have successfully used here. So let's just use this. Username would be this one R. Sorry. And for the password, let's copy the password and replace the password. Everything else would be same. You just need to update these three things when you upload your files from local system to a web server. Okay. Now simply save it. Everything is perfectly saved. Now close it. Now, if you try to refresh it, you will see the WordPress perfectly working fine without any issues. So here you can see it's kind of working, but kind of not. Because when you use Elementor, you need to add one more option where you need to replace the localhost URLs to the web server URLs. So let me just log into admin panel. So, WP-admin. So here we have successfully entered into the our WordPress dashboard. Okay. Now simply go back to left hand menu sidebar, go to the Elementor and choose the editor and go to the tools section. Here you can simply replace the old URLs to new URLs. Here you can see an option replace URLs. So let me just copy the old URL and replace it with the new URL and choose the option replace URL and simply you can see 9 database rows affected. Okay. So let's just view the website now. Here you can see everything works perfectly fine. If you right click on it, choose inspect element and try to use the inspect element to check the image for path. Here you can see that. I mean, this will be that. Yes. Here you can see it's used the server URL. Everything works fine. There is no localhost. For make sure everything works perfectly fine, we just need to exit this WampServer, right click on it and choose the exit method. So it's temporarily shut down from our system until we restart it. Okay. Now it's closing. It's perfectly closed. Now use the refresh method to make sure everything is from the server side, nothing is from the local side. Okay. Everything looks perfectly fine. There is no issue with that. I mean, this must be that. Yeah, this is it. So there is no issue with that. So one more thing we need to do, go to the settings, go to the permalinks, and now we need to replace the permalinks from plain to the post name so it behaves perfectly on the website. When you use this with domain name.com slash about us slash contact us slash services slash products so that it will work perfectly and properly. Okay. So everything is perfectly working fine. So let's wrap this up and recap one more time. Here we understand how we can build a website on local environment, and then how we can upload all the website data with database and files to our chosen server. It will be either cPanel or a hosting the or any AWS panel. Everything will behave differently, but most of the things are same. First, you need to upload the files, create the database, import the database, replace the URLs, and then after logging, if you use Elementor, you need to do one more step that we have done. So let's go back to recap again. Elementor, editor, tools. You need to replace the URLs from there as well. First, you need to replace the URL on the database side. Second time, if you use Elementor, then you need to replace the URLs from this part. Okay. So everything works fine and we are done. You can rebuild this from memory, and that's the real goal, not copying the file. Use it to check your work, not to skip the work. Something not making sense, comment. That's usually the best question in this thread, and I will answer it. If this cleared things up for you, I like helps more people find it. See you there. Take care and happy learn.